This is lesson 48 for 7th grade, and today we're going to review percent, decimals, and fractions, and how to convert in between all of those things. One thing I like to remind my students of is that we do have, or I have posters up to help us remember the certain rules to get between each of these and back and forth and all of that. So if we do forget when we're working on a problem, remember that I do have those things posted and that you can take a look at them. And also, as always, ask me questions. I know these things, they get hit a lot, but they seem to slip our minds quite often, so we need to stay on top of it. All of these things are things we'll use a lot in the future with money and all of that, getting paid and keeping track of bills and all that good stuff. So, important stuff to know. Okay, so we're going to review here. If we just take a look at this circle here and we look at what fraction is shaded, we can represent that as a fraction, decimal, or a percent. We could say that half of the circle is shaded, 0.5 of the circle is shaded, that'd be 0.5 of a full one circle, or 50% of the circle is shaded. So just taking a look at this, half, we could turn half into a decimal by actually going 1 divided by 2. If we do that, we should get 0.5. Sorry, 2 would go up here. 1, we're going to divide 1 into 2 parts. 1.00. So 2 goes into 1 0 times. 2 goes into 10 5 times. 5 times 2 is 10. Subtract, and we get 0. And 2 goes into 0 times. We're done. We get a remainder of 0. So that's where the 0.5 comes from. 1 divided by 2. If I wanted to go from here, the decimal to the fraction, I would go, okay, what place value is my 5 in? And that's in the tenths place. So I just take that, the number in the last digit, or the last place value, which is a 5, and I go 5 tenths, and then we just reduce it. We divide by 5, divide by 5, we get 5 divided by 5 is 1, 10 divided by 5 is 2, so 1/2. So getting from here to here, that's how we do that. Look at the place value of the last digit. Okay, so that's how we get back and forth between a fraction and a decimal. I'm going to leave that up there. Now to get to a percent, we just do the division, so we would have done 1 divided by 2, and then we multiply by 100. So we did 1 divided by 2, and we got 0.5. So 0.5 times 100 equals 50. So that's our percent. Basically what you do to turn a decimal into a percent is you just move your decimal over 2 spots to the right. 1, 2, add a 0 there, that's gone. Your decimal is now there. Well, that's 50. Okay? So moving your decimal 2 spots to the right can turn it into a percent. So to get from percent back to decimal or to fraction, you could just move your decimal place 2 spots to the left. Our decimal is right here. 1, 2, you're back to 0.5. So that'd be percent to decimal. The other thing you could do is say, okay, percents are out of 100, so that's 50 out of 100, which we know reduces to 1/2, and then we could turn that into 0.5. So just using half, 0.5, and 50%, that's how we would get through and back and forth between all of those things. Now let's try some other examples with this. So, example 1 here, to write 7/10 as a percent. Well, we have to do the division first. We have to do 7 divided by 10. And remember that that little bar, that's a division bar. So 7 divided by 10, and then we want to move our decimal, or multiply by 100, and that shows us how to do that, or right here. So to change a number to its percent equivalent, we multiply the number by 100%. So one thing that they did here, where you could have done 7 divided by 10 right away, and then multiplied by 100. They multiplied by 100 before they divided anything. So, which is okay. So this is really 7 over 10 times 100 over 1. So that's where they get 7 times 100 is 700, 10 times 1 is 10. And then you can cross these out, and you're left with 70 over 1, or just 70%. Because 700 divided by 10 gives you 70. Okay? If we would have done it the other way, that's 10 goes into 7, 0 times. 10 goes into 70 7 times. Do the subtraction, get 0, 0. Okay, so 0.7. If we multiply that by 100, you still get 70%. So whichever way you want to go about doing it, doesn't really matter. Alright, let's take a look at the next one. This is the same type of deal, except for 2/3, we end up getting a mixed number form of the percent. So if we do it the way that they like to do it, this is 2/3 times 100% over 1. So that's where they get 2 times 100, 200, 3 times 1, 3. So 200 divided by 3. 3 goes into 20 6 times. Subtract, we get 2, bring our 0 down. 3 goes into 20 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. Subtract, we get 2. So here we would say, okay, we have 66 remainder of 2, but we know we can represent this as a mixed number. Put the remainder over the divisor, 3. So 66 and 2/3%, and that's what they got there. So if you do get, if you don't get a whole number percent, make sure you write it as a mixed number. Alright, this will be the last one we go over, and then tomorrow we'll go through a bunch more examples together. So first thing we want to do, let's turn that 1/3 into a decimal, and then into a percent. So decimal, we do 1 divided by 3. 3 goes into 1 0 times. 3 goes into 10 3 times. We get our decimal there. 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract, we get a 1 again. 0. 3 times 3 is 9. We'll get a 1. So we're going to see that we will keep getting 3's. Okay? So how we would write that is we use our little bar. 0.3. Just like that. Okay? That 3 goes on forever. Now to turn that into a percent, we could just move our decimal over, but to help us see it the other way, remember 1/3 or 1 over 3 times 100% over 1, or 100% divided by 3. Okay? So this will give us our percent. 3 goes into 100 3 times. We should be getting the same as the decimal, except for we will get a remainder here, and we won't just have a decimal percent. So 33 and 1 over 3%. 33 and a third. Alright, just gonna check my time quick. We're doing alright? Okay, so that's our first row there. Decimal of 1.5, we want to turn that into a fraction. Well, this will be a mixed number because it's bigger than 1. 1.5 is larger than 1, so it should be 1 and something. And it looks like it's 1 and 5/10. Well, 5/10 reduces to 1/2, as we saw earlier. So a mixed number, 1 and 1/2. Or 3/2 as an improper fraction. What is that as a percent? I'm going to take the shortcut on this one. And it's got to be over 100% because it's bigger than 1. Okay? So remember, we can move our decimal over 2 spots to the right, or if we just multiply it by 100, we can do it that way too. So I'm just going to do this, 1, 2, and we should get 150%. 150%. Remember that 100% means 1, so anything bigger than 1 as a decimal is going to be higher than 100%. Okay? Next row, 60%. Let's see, what should we write that as first? Shortcut says we can just go back 2 decimal places. So we should go 1, 2, and be at 0.6. And as a fraction, that's 6/10. 6/10 reduces to 3/5, so 3/5. Okay. Didn't have to go to the decimal first. We could have gone. We could have taken 60/100 as a fraction and reduced it to 3/5, and then gone and got our decimal. That would have been okay too. So 3 divided by 5 should be 0.6, and it is. And our last one here, 2/1. What is that as a decimal? Okay, well 2/1 is just 2. Anything over 1 is just itself. So decimal, 2.0. And remember, 1 is 100%, so 2 must be 200%. Alright, so that would be our chart filled out. And we're going to see quite a few of those charts the rest of the way just to keep track of everything and stay on top of it. I think that's all I had for this lesson. So yep, we'll talk more about this tomorrow.